study with multiple operations. Next, what we are going to do is, thank you, Divyansh. Next, what we are going to do is use solver to solve our problems. Okay. Let us move on now again. Now, solver might give you some problems at certain times, so I'm just warning you regarding that. Okay, you might face certain problems with solver. This same problem, I want to do it using solver. So let me So here I'm just going to increase the font size. Now the same problem is there. That is, let's say Amit produces these pens. So I'm just going to copy the same question here. So selling price, that is my sale price is what? 10 rupees. Then what is my making cost? My making cost is 2 rupees. Okay. And units sold, or let me write pens sold is what? Suppose I start with 500 pens and my fixed cost is 10,000 rupees. And let me just format these as currency values. It helps me see formatting the cells as currency values many a times helps us to understand that this is a monetary value, right? So that is why it is advisable that you format those particular cells as rupee, right? Now we have to calculate profit. This is my total profit, which I am going to earn, right? And this also I am formatting it as rupees. So now over here I am using my formula, that is this cell minus my cost, that is making cost, multiplied by pens sold, subtract fixed cost from there, and you can see there is a loss. So now I need to at least find out my breaking point, that where I am able to at least not make any loss, not get any loss. So for this, I will go to the data tab. I will go to what if analysis, sorry, not what if analysis. For this, I need to switch on a solver plugin. Okay. Now students, in your systems, the solver plugin might not be switched on. So you need to switch it on. So for this, just watch very carefully what I am doing. You need to go to file, and from there you need to go to options. Now within options, you have to go to add-ins. You can see add-ins over here. So just have to go to add-ins and just wait for Excel to load everything. And you can see the solver add-in here. In your system, it will not be there. So what you do, you have to go to this last area here. That is manage. Manage what? You have to select from here Excel add-in, right? And click on go. And here you will see this box is unchecked. In your case, it will be unchecked. So just check this box and click on OK. So Excel will take some time to configure this solver plugin, and then you will find it within the data tab, analyze group, you will find this option solver. Okay. Solver actually makes use of some advanced mathematical models. Some mathematical estimation models in order to calculate the result. Okay, so solver basically contains three things. Please pay attention to this part very carefully. First thing is your objective function. This is the cell which will contain your formula, and it is always one single cell. Okay, one single cell. हमेशा याद रखना, ऑब्जेक्टिव फंक्शन जिस भी सेल में होगा वो एक ही सेल होगा, उसी में आपका फॉर्मूला लगा होगा. ओके, So that is your objective function, means this is my goal where I have to reach. This is the goal which I want to achieve, जो मुझे achieve करना है, right? Second will be my target value which I want. Either I would like to gain a maximum of something, and that could be like maximum profit, okay, maximum revenue. So these are things which I want in maximum, कि मैं चाहती हूँ कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा profit कमाऊँ, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा मुझे revenue मिले, right? Minimum, I can see cost, that I want to reduce the cost, I want to reduce expenses, right? So these are certain things which I would always want to reduce. So minimum and an exact value. 1, 2, 3. Target value, exact value. That is, I have one single value and I want to reach that value, right? So these three things are target values. Third is variable cells. Now you can see variable cells, it's in plural. In goal seek, you had the option of only one variable cell. But here you can change more than one values. So you can have either one single cell or a range of cells. You can provide a range of cells over here. आप एक सेल भी दे सकते हो, आप सेल का एक रेंज भी दे सकते हो यहाँ पे, right? And fourth and very important, constraints. Constraints means certain limitations. There was, or you can also say certain conditions. Terms and conditions we say, है ना? कि you once purchased, once purchased, you cannot return it back, or you will not get any refund back. Okay, you touch it, you buy it. You go to a supermarket, there are conditions there that you touch a particular thing, that means you are buying it. Okay, you break something, that means you have purchased it, right? You'll have to pay money for that. So terms and conditions are also applicable in case of solver, whereas in case of goal seek or multiple operations, there was no way of setting some conditions. Like for example, by this selling price, I cannot increase the selling price according to my requirement. Like a pen which costs hardly 10 rupees, I cannot sell it for 50 rupees or 60 rupees. Okay, no one will buy that pen. So I set a target that okay, I can increase the pen's selling price to maximum 15 rupees, लेकिन 15 रुपए से ज्यादा मैं नहीं कर सकती. पेन का मेरा जो सेलिंग प्राइस होगा वो 10 रुपए होगा या 15 रुपए हो सकता है, ज्यादा से ज्यादा, उससे ज्यादा मैं नहीं बढ़ा सकती. And cost price also, that is making cost, I can keep it, I can bring it, if I have set it to 4 rupees, I can bring it down to 3 rupees, but not below 3 rupees. Because then in that case, all my expenses will add up to my losses. Okay. I also have to incur the expense for producing each pen. हर एक पेन बनाने में मुझे लेबर कॉस्ट लग रहा है, मुझे रॉ मटेरियल का कॉस्ट लग रहा है. So that cost I have to incur. That is based on one single unit, right? So that much I have to bear. Okay. So I can provide constraints in case of solver, but I didn't have this feature in case of goal seek. So solver helps us to solve more complex problems with all these different factors involved. Okay, so it allows us to even provide more factors, to add more factors to it. And fifth and very important thing is it uses advanced mathematical models to calculate values. One of them is GRG linear, which is actually generalized reduced gradient. This is generalized reduced gradient. It stands for this. So this is one mathematical model which starts from a, actually what these mathematical models do is they plot a graph. Okay. So they start from a lowest point, move to a highest point, then again go to the lowest. So this way I can find the highest point over here. So for this, I can find out a value max. If I want to achieve a lowest point, then I would be starting my graph like this. And I would achieve a lowest point, that is min. And somewhere in between or wherever I want, I can achieve a certain value. So this is GRG linear. This is one algorithm which is used. Second is simplex LP. LP stands for linear programming. And this is the most simplest form of the algorithm which is used, and it plots a graph like this. Okay, you go on increasing the variables and you get some values for it, right? So whichever is the highest point, I can get max from there. Whichever is my lowest point, I can get min from there. And if any value has been given, that value can be achieved from here. And the last one is evolutionary. What evolutionary does is starts like this with one set of values, okay, gets the maximum point here, gets a minimum point here, then for the next iteration it will get a next higher point. So this way ek ke baad ek, so it figures out where at which point I'm getting the maximum value, right? So this is evolutionary, right? So these are some of the mathematical models which solver uses in order to calculate results. Now let me tell you one more thing. You can sometimes find unpredictable results also. That will always depend upon the values which you are giving, and maybe you are giving a kind of an unachievable target. जो टारगेट आप अचीव कर ही नहीं सकते, आप बोल रहे हो कि 500 आई विल सेल 500 पेन्स given sale price 10 rupees and cost price 3 rupees and my fixed cost are 10,000 rupees, but for 500 rupees I want a profit of 60,000 rupees. So if you are setting unrealizable goals, in self-management we had studied, okay, some unachievable goals or you can say the unrealistic goals. If you set unrealistic goals, then you will get unpredictable results here. So to work with solver also, you need to use your own intellect. Okay, you have to do a lot of hit and trial and use different combinations of values so that you get the proper result, right? तो आपको भी देखना पड़ेगा कि ये feasible है कि नहीं, this particular result or these particular sets of values, are they feasible with the solution or not? You also have to keep that in mind. So let us start with solver. So we are over here and we will try to work on the solver for this particular problem, right? Let's try to get a break-even point using solver. So what I'm going to do is I'll go to data, analyze and click on solver. And I have already explained the various things. So the very first thing you see over here is set objective. So this is the area which will contain the address of the cell which contains your objective function. That is that one cell which contains your function. Always remember, for using solver, you will have only one cell which contains the function, right? You will not have more than one cell. Only one cell which contains your function or formula, right? So that is your objective function. Then you can set its value to max, like for gaining maximum profit, minimum cost, value, or you want a certain value, so you can set this to a certain value by changing variable cells. So here in variable cells you can provide either the address of one single cell or more than one cell. And very important, subject to constraints, that is you can provide limitations or constraints in this particular box. Okay, So let us start with our question. Set objective function, it was already selected, so my objective function is set. I want to achieve a break-even point of 0, so I have set 0 over here. By changing, now I want to get different combinations. That is, I want to make changes in all the three. I want to change selling price also, cost price also, and pens sold also. Okay, I want to make changes in all the three cells to check how much is my breaking point. So I will be selecting these three cells as you saw over here. Now you can see select a solving method. So here I have, it is GRG non-linear. So I can change it and I can select simplex LP also. Now I'll click on solve and solver gets a solution. So let us check. I'll click on OK to keep the solution. And you can see that I am getting a very unpredictable result over here. That is minus 10,000. Okay, so I don't want that. So again, I will set the results back 500 as by making cost. And again, I'll go to solver. That's what I said. You can get unpredictable results also. So this is my objective function. And now suppose I want to check, I want to get a value of 0. Okay, I want to check my break even point by changing these variable cells. And now I will be using some constraints over here. Like for example, let me set some constraints. Like I want to keep my sale price as not more than 15 rupees. Okay, and my making cost at least 2 rupees or at least 3 rupees. So I can change that. I'm going to make it 3 rupees over here, or I'm suppose making it as 4 rupees, my making cost. I cannot bring it down more than that. And suppose, and what I want is the pen sold. I cannot sell half a pen. So my unit sold or pens sold, it has to be a whole number, a complete number. Okay, I'm going to sell whole pens, not part of pen. And I have a total capacity of selling only, of manufacturing only 10,000 pens. That means I cannot increase the capacity of my plant more than 10,000 pens. So these are some of my constraints. Keep in mind. So let's start again and let's see what value we get this time. So I am going to first go to select my profit cell, go to solver. So it is already selected. Value I want 0. By changing cells, I have already provided these, that is these three cells. And now let us add the constraints. The first constraint is my selling price should not be more than 15 rupees. So I'm setting selling price. And here you can see the operator that is less than equal to. This operator is less than equal to means it will not exceed, it will not be greater than that value. And less than equal to 15. So click on add, it gets added to the list of constraints. My second constraint, making cost. It has to be at least 3 rupees. That means I will select it has to be greater than equal to 3 rupees. Add this also. Then next is pens sold. It has to be a greater than 0. So I'm going to select greater than equal to 0. Add, and again this pen sold, it has to be an integer value because it cannot be fractional number. Okay, it cannot be like 1.5 pen or 500.5 pens. It has to be a whole number. Okay, and capacity will be seeing a little later. So I'm going to click on OK, and now let's keep our fingers crossed, and we'll be clicking on solve to just check. But still I'm getting a very unpredictable result over here. So sometimes you can get this result and you have this I'm getting three options here. Keep solver solution, that is you are satisfied with this solution, or restore original values, that is whatever original values were given, you can restore that, or you can solve without integer constraints. So I'm going to click on this once again, click on OK, but still I am getting that. So I'm going to go to restore original values. This will restore my original value. That is, if you are not satisfied with the solver result, you can again restore the original values. Okay. Let us try once again to get some kind of a better solution for this. Right? So let's see. Let's go to max. So now we want to see how much maximum profit I can gain. So I've clicked on max, click on solve, but still I'm getting a negative value for profit over here. I don't know why I'm getting this problem today. Let's maybe that could be one of the reasons why maybe I have tried to achieve a goal which is unattainable. Maybe I am trying to achieve an unrealistic goal. So I can try making some changes over here. Like for example, maybe I could increase my selling price to 12, and let's see now for this. Let's go to solver and let's try to again solve it. Again, I'm getting this minus only. So this is some kind of a problem. We need to check what problem it is. Give me a moment, students, okay? So I'm going to change this to GRT nonlinear and then check. Okay, so I got some result over here. Click on OK and I'm going to increase this. Now you can see over here, this is like pens sold. I had not used that constraint of 10,000 pens. So it is giving me, you have to sell these many pens to achieve maximum profit. So again, I'll go to solver and I'll add one more constraint here. That is my pens sold has to be less than equal to 10,000. That is, I can at most manufacture 10,000 pens only, not more than that. Now I'm getting somewhat achievable goal, that is where it is asking me to set the sell price at 15. I already provided this constraint that it cannot make it more than 15. Making cost I had kept at 4 rupees, but it brought down to 3 rupees. Usse niche nahi kiya usne. And pens sold is 10,000. So this is for gaining maximum profit. Again, I'll go to solver. Try to achieve a certain value. So I'll go to value of, and maybe I'll try to get a profit of 70,000. Let's see what it gives me. So here it gives me, you can see over here, I'm clicking on OK. Sale price 12.39, which is fine, which is less than 15 rupees. Making cost 3.10, 3 rupees 10 paise, okay, which is slightly more than 3, but it is not less than 3. And pens sold, I need to manufacture at least 8,611 pens with a capacity that is within my capacity of 10,000 pens. My plant can produce maximum 10,000 pens, not more than that. So I can achieve a profit of 70,000. If you round it off, you can get, if I round it off, you will get, this becomes 70,000 profit. Okay, so this is how you can get the solution. So if you are satisfied with the solution, you can choose, you can go with the first option, that is keep the results. And if you are not satisfied with the result, you can go with the second option. So this is how solver works. Is this example of solver clear to everyone? We'll be seeing one more nice example of solver. Fine. So now we have over here the sugar and spice cake shop. Okay, I did a lot of research on this. Let's see how it turns up. The sugar and spice cake shop. Now this is a cake shop. It is a cake shop which is owned by Mr. Anand. So he owns a cake shop, the Sugar and Spice, which sells cakes of 4 different kinds. help him in achieving the following goals. Maximize profit by changing how many of each type of cake is made. That is, obviously, if you have a business setup, your ultimate goal or objective will be to maximize your profit, right? He must meet minimum demand to keep customers happy. He must not, he must also not exceed maximum demand, or else he will lose money on inventory. Okay, that is, if suppose the maximum demand exceeds, कि जितना demand है हमने उससे ज़्यादा बना लिया, so what will happen? That will go waste, right? So I don't want, he doesn't want that either. Additionally, he can use 20 hours of employee labor to devote to making cake. That is, every employee will be available to him. Total of 20 employee hours only he can make use of in order to make the cake. So you can see over here, and he can make whole units only, that is not half a cake or one third of a cake, but one whole cake has to be made. Okay, so there are four types of cakes which he makes, which he sells: regular, chocolate, vanilla, and black forest cake, right? Each cake incurs some making cost, obviously. These are the making costs. Like regular, for making a simple cake, that is 10 rupees. Chocolate cake costs a little more, 12 rupees. Vanilla 35, and black forest is the very bad. Black forest needs a lot of ingredients, so 70 rupees per cake. And sale price he has fixed over here. That is, regular will be sold at 15 rupees, chocolate at 18 rupees, vanilla 38 rupees, and black forest 80 rupees. Right? Profit per cake. How will I get the profit per cake? You can see its formula I have used. E23 minus D23, that is sale price minus cost price, will give you the profit per cake. So which is the most profitable cake you see over here? It is obviously the black forest cake, right? I'm going to turn on the mic because I might ask few questions to you people. Yes. Can you tell me the type of cake which earns the maximum profit here?
Black forest.
Black forest.
Forest.
Second best
Forest.
selling cake which gives you more profit?
Chocolate.
Chocolate cake.
Chocolate.
Then we have regular, and the cake which gives you the least profit, that is vanilla cake. है ना? And labor required. Now, how much labor? That is, obviously you will be having, he will be having employees, chefs working in the kitchen for preparing a chocolate. So amount of labor required. Now this is specified in hours. You can see labor in hours. How did I do this? Minutes multiplied by what? I have just converted minutes into hours. You know that 1 hour equals 60 minutes, right? That means 60 minutes equals, you have to do a little bit of math here. 60 minutes equals 1 hour. So 3 minutes equals how many hours? You'll use the unitary method, 1 divided by 60 multiplied by 3. Okay, so this is the formula which has been used. So 0.3 minutes for regular, 8 minutes for chocolate, 5 minutes for vanilla, 11 minutes for black forest. Obviously, black forest needs a lot of labor. Now, these are the minimum demands. That is, minimum you have to meet this demand. आपको कम से कम 100 रेगुलर केक तो बेचने ही बेचने हैं, प्रिपेयर करने ही करने है ना. 40 chocolate cakes have to be there, 30 vanilla cakes have to be there, 20 black forest cakes have to be there. Then you have a maximum demand. That is, what is the maximum demand? So maximum demand is of regular cake. That is the most popular type of cake. Even if black forest is the most profitable, but black forest is costly also. इसीलिए उसका डिमांड जो है उसका भी अच्छा खासा डिमांड है, that is 150. But the maximum demand is for regular cake, and 80 each for chocolate and vanilla cake. Right? So these are minimum demands, these are maximum demands. So, and you have a total labor used. How I have calculated total labor? Students, I have used a very nice formula, a function over here known as sum product function. That is sum of product function. if you have three values like A, B, C, and here you have D, E, F. So some product will give you the values of like this: A into D plus B into C plus C into F. So some product gives you this result, right? So over here, I have to figure out what is the total labor. So total labor will be, how do I calculate the total labor? I will have to multiply like unit. The first number of units is 0. I have to figure this out, that how much of each type of cake should Mr. Anand sell so as to make maximum profit. So अब जितने भी cakes यहाँ बनेंगे, like for example, if suppose 1 unit of regular cake is made, right? So for that purpose, this means 1 into 0.03 that will be added to labor. Means एक बनाने में इतना time लग रहा है. How much time will be needed for making 2 units of uh, 2 regular cakes? So that will mean that this number of units multiplied by labor, okay, and then the next number of units for the second type multiplied by this labor hours used for it. Then it will be this one into this plus this one into. So I simply use some product function here. Okay, and firstly I will take up number of units as the range, comma, number of labor as the range. Press enter. So you can see that because only two regular cakes are to be made and each needs 3 minutes, so a total of 6 minutes are needed. Suppose vanilla cake, I add one vanilla cake over here, 0.11, because it needs 5 minutes. One vanilla cake needs 5 minutes, so 5 plus 6, 11 minutes, right? So this way you can figure out the total amount of labor and profit. How will I for profit? Profit will be number of units multiplied by profit per cake. So for that purpose, in this cell, I will again use the sum product formula. My first range will be units, comma, second will be profit per cake, and press enter. And this I am going to format as currency, rupees. Okay. So now what I need to do is I need to figure out how much total profit, how much maximum profit can he make by selling, and for that how many units he need to manufacture for each type of cake. So for doing this, we will first select the cell containing our objective function, that is profit. Right? Now I go to data, go to solver, and here I will reset all. Okay, because now I'm going to calculate for the next problem here. Set objective, I'm going to select this cell and do what? Max, because I want maximum profit. By changing which cell? By changing this cell, that is unit cell, right? Now comes all my constraints. Let me solve the problem just like that and see. So I'm getting some value here, that is, this is without any constraints. You can see without any limitations, it will give you a maximum value कि आप इतना profit achieve कर सकते हो, but you have to make these many units of the cake and this much of labor has to be used. So this is somewhat a kind of an unrealistic goal, right? Realistic goals will always have some constraints, right? So again I'm going to profit, go to solver. Now I will apply this. My first constraint is number of units has to at least meet minimum demand. Okay, so I'll add Sampoon Chauhan, please turn your mic off, my dear. Thank you. So I'm going to select number of units. So you can see I've selected a range of cells. This has to be greater than equal to minimum demand. कि minimum demand तो मुझे करना है, इतना होना ही है, इससे ज्यादा भी हो सकता है. So add, right? Next, again units, it has to be less than equal to maximum demand. That means Now it has to be less than equal to this. Means it cannot exceed maximum demand, or else all my food, all my ingredients will go to waste, right? Add it. Okay. Next is I can use maximum 20 hours of labor only. So for that, I will select this cell, total labor used, that has to be less than equal to 20. And click on OK. And one more constraint will be, I can only make whole cake. I cannot make half a cake. So again add, and again I go back to my table here. All the units have to be integer values. That is, they have to be whole numbers, not fractional numbers. Click on OK and you can see 4 constraints here. Let's keep our fingers crossed, click on solve, and we get some results over here. I'm going to go with the result. You can see that total labor. Now how many units it's giving me? Let's analyze. Maximum demand for, we have maximum demand for regular type of cake. So it's telling me, okay, you should sell 300 units of regular cake because its profit is kind of okay, but its demand is very high. Okay. Then next is, it tells me to make 57 Black Forest cake because it has the highest profit. Although its demand is less, but still it is telling me to make 57 units of that cake. Okay, now because this labor is also involved, Black Forest cake is profitable, agreed, but then amount of labor needed is more for Black Forest. So that also has to be kept in mind. So it is telling me that you make how much? 57 Black Forest cakes, then 40 chocolate cakes because chocolate is the next profitable one. Okay. And the least for vanilla cake because vanilla has only 3 rupees per profit per cake. So it is telling me to make only 30 cakes of vanilla. Right. And here you can see labor. It is not exceeding the maximum labor available and I can get a profit of 2,400. That is in accordance with this particular solution, right? Somebody has switched the mic on. Please switch it off, whosoever it is. So this is like, for this particular situation, you got this. Now, if you make changes
Ma'am,
over
please
here,
disable everybody's mic.
okay, then I'll do one thing. I'll go to participants and disable mic for everyone. Fine. So this is one type of thing where you are meeting all the constraints and staying within those constraints, you are getting some, right? So this was one solver solution which I gave you. Let's take a look at the next one over here. So I have, okay, this one I was still having some problems. Wait a sec. Okay. This one you all have understood. Okay, so you can do this on your own. Or let's try to solve this. So here again you have these many constraints, right? So I'm going to set my objective function as this one for profit. We'll go to solver and this is my objective function. And now I want to get at least a value of 0 to achieve my break even point by changing variable cells, these 3. Okay, subject to constraints. Now my selling price cannot exceed 15 rupees. So here I need to select my selling price less than equal to 15, add it. Making cost should be at least 3 rupees. I've kept it 4 rupees, but I can bring it down to 3, but not more than that. So making cost has to be at least greater than equal to 3 rupees. Add that. Total number of pens has to be a whole number, so that has to be an integer value. And add that. And pens, I cannot exceed 10,000 pens. So 10,000 pens. Click on OK. And now let's run this solve. And you can see it is telling me that you need to sell around 1142 pence for 12.38. It's not reaching 15. 12.38 rupees per pen, and making cost has to be 3.62, which is fulfilling the minimum demand, that is 3. Okay, then you can achieve 0. This is the break even point which you can achieve using these values. Keep solver solution, you can click on OK. That is, I'm satisfied with the solution. So at least I know that in order to not incur any losses, I need to at least make 1142 pence. But now obviously I would want some profit. So again, I'll go to solver, and here I will select max, and now I'll check solve, and it says, okay, if you want maximum profit, then you have to, and because your limit is 10,000 pence, so you make 10,000 pence, but you increase the selling price to 50. Let us try to go to restore original values, and I'm going to uh, make some additions in this one, that is 10,000 को मुझे change करना है. And let me, I suppose I have upgraded, I got some money and I upgraded my machines, and now my plant can produce 20,000 pens, right? So I make that and I click on solve. So now it tells me that, okay, you can make 20,000 pens, you can earn a profit of 2,30,000, but then you have to keep the selling price at 15, and making cost you have to bring it down to 3 rupees. Okay, so you can either choose to keep it as a solver solution, or you can go to restore original values. It's up to you, and you can also save this as a scenario. So if you click it as a scenario, I can write here gain 20, gain profit, gain maximum profit, or wait, scenario name has to be like this, max profit. Okay, so I've just given a name for it and click on OK. So this is one of my scenarios, and I can go to restore original values. Now I can go back to what if analysis, scenario manager, and you can see the scenario here, max profit, show max profit scenario, and it shows this scenario. So this is my scenario that I can understand कि ये एक scenario हो सकता है जहाँ पे मैं 20,000 पेन्स बनाऊं और मुझे इतना profit मिले, right? So I hope solver is clear to everyone. There are many other examples which I would be sharing with you all slowly and gradually through short videos. Is solver clear to everyone, students? Please ask if you have. I've tried to gather examples from as many sources as I could, and that too simple examples at your level. But let me tell you, students, 1 second, Nandini. Let me tell you one thing, students, that solver there could solve even more complicated problems. There are, if you check online, you will find way too complicated problems. In fact, businessmen, they use this a lot in order to figure out different scenarios in which they can earn different levels of profit. Okay, so this can be used as a wonderful tool to maximize profit. So all those who have a business setup at home, you can help your parents using this solver. And when you actually apply this in real life, you will be able to see the difference. You'll be able to actually, when you apply this concept at your home, then you will be able to learn this concept in a better way, use it in a better way, right? So I suggest all those who have a business setup at home, or there is like your parents or somebody in your family, they work using Excel, you can suggest this and you can even help them out with this, right? But for that, you need to first practice a lot of these questions. Now, when I'm going to post this lecture on YouTube, I will be giving the link in the description for downloading this Excel sheet. So you can download it, and at your home, at your own end, you can practice all of these features, right?